Dishonored is not just what my parents think of me when they see my search history, but also a Bethesda nostalgia trip, as one of the best game studios swung their schmeat on the table as they force-fed fat L's to other game studios in 2012 with this masterful performance. Everyone loved Dishonored more than Putin loves Ukraine, and I decided after the relative success of my Fallout video to go ahead and do the same with Dishonored. I'll be doing the same with Dishonored 2 in the next week, although I never really played that game, so that's going to be interesting. So like and subscribe to not miss out on the video, and not as a thinly veiled coercion attempt to improve my numbers on YouTube. In any case, let's get started. The game starts in a cool intro screen where we see the main sleeky greasers from 7th grade English book reading looking ass protagonist while picking our difficulty. I go for normal instead of easy and hard because my mama ain't raised no complete bitch. A nice exposition of what happened as the game decides to blow smoke in my face like an abusive stepfather. The game starts as we return back from getting on our knees and sucking other nations for the cure to the rat plague, but to no avail. You wonder if this universe has anti-vaxxers, but it doesn't seem like any truckers are blocking the royal palace from where I'm standing, so I guess not. I go up the waterlock and go to the palace as we meet the Princess Emily. Side note, Corvo is the royal protector, essentially a bodyguard for the Empress and her family, and we play a game of hide and seek, which is supposed to be a minor stealth tutorial, and you are going to the newfound 8th pit of hell if you say no to her, you absolute sack of shit. We play one round as we go down to a secluded area where no one is around, so you know EDP and Lion Maker definitely tried some sus shit here when first playing the game. Emily's dumbass couldn't think to look behind the metal object I was behind, so we definitely got an inbred Habsburg as our next empress, which doesn't bode well for the plague-infested city. We meet the High Overseer, who is literally a religious military cult leader. Think of him as Osama bin Laden, being painted by Sokolov, the mad scientist. And finally, here we are, the Empress, with Dr. Egghead, who stopped fighting Sonic and decided to get in shape. I wonder who the villain for this story's gonna be. Surely it isn't this fucking Lord of the Rings villain-looking ass manscaped critic. We give the letter to the Empress, who doesn't seem happy that the Black Plague has no cure. Very strange indeed. Someone told the guards there was an unarmed black man minding his business downstairs, which sent them all packing, and no one was here to stop goddamn Zed from League of Legends one-shotting Corvo and the Empress with one attack. And goddamn Riot, nerf Zed for fuck's sake, he's even more busted than my dick after 2 hours on TikTok. After the Empress dies in my arms, spawning the debate on whether Corvo is Emily's dad or not, the guards catch me red-handed, quite literally, and they lock me up for thinking I killed the Empress. After violating 7 human rights abuses and the Geneva Suggestion itself, we find out that Dr. Egghead, who is now the Lord Regent, and Bin Laden were actually behind the murders and framed me. Not that it matters, as some dude sends me my dinner with a note underneath and a key telling me where to escape to, and I'm off. I think this is where I should explain how Dishonored as a game works and why its gameplay is absolutely masterful. This is the only game I know of where you can go down 2 different paths, low chaos and high chaos, and not just a new ending or some unique special scenes at the end. No. Like clickbait YouTubers say, this will change your game, as the entire game, from minor cutscenes to the amount and type of enemies, and even the atmosphere itself, changes depending on whether you kill, which is high chaos, or avoid killing, which is low chaos, with different NPC dialogue as well depending on what you do. Different people die towards the later stages of the game, and you also get a different amount of rats. You know, high chaos, you'll have more of them. This is really a testament that the development team cared about the game, as they didn't have to go deeper than Pete Davidson and Kanye's ex to make a well-selling game, but they added in these subtle differences that will literally evolve depending on how you decide to play out your game. This really is, in my opinion, the only game that does this so well. I guarantee none of them worked on Battlefield 2042. Conveniently, there's a city watch sword waiting for me outside my cell, so that's pretty cool. And get you a friend like this thug hyping me up to kill some guards. What an absolute Chad. I take this man out and throw him in the corner till he learns his lesson. Hey, look, he's got a buddy. I pick up a Glock and kill these rats for no particular reason other than satisfaction. Fuck them rats, by the way. I go to the interrogation room, and after some PTSD, I tell the greaser to man up and pick up the conveniently placed explosive device in the interrogation room, because that's where they always keep the explosive. That's honestly probably why they didn't find the weapons of mass destruction Iraq was supposed to have. They were just hidden in their torture chambers. I end up getting seen finally as I show them I was avoiding combat for their sake and not mine, as I send this guy's head flying higher than Michael Jordan in his prime, and send this guy to ask Kurt Cobain if he really did kill himself. What the hell is the kickback on this gun? Holy crap. I sent him flying. I place the explosive, break into the river, and finally end up in the sewer, where we continue our Easter egg hunt with another note from our friend. 6ix9ine absolutely tears these people apart. These racks are hungry. Excuse me, sir, could you, just a little, sorry, just like, thank you. Hey, yo, 6ix9ine jails that way. 2 in a row, I'm sorry. Finally, Corvo's weapons, as we're getting ready to take ass and eat bodies. That came out wrong. The fact that the person this safe is meant for couldn't figure out the easiest puzzle I've ever seen shows exactly why the city is in this state. I know I'm going for a low chaos playthrough, but let me feel like Ezio just this once. Oop, here I go killing again. I swear I'm good at this game, just give me some time to warm up. We finally make it to the sewer pretty quickly, honestly, almost as fast as when the Taliban took back Afghanistan, but there's Samuel, aka my boy, aka the only person to make sideburns look cool. Finally, results are in and only 7 people dead. Very nice. We travel down the river to the Houndpits pub where the Resistance, or the Loyalists, are headquartered, as we meet Tyrion Lannister after getting some lead work done, and holy fuck, I didn't know they had the fucking crimson chin in this game. What a goddamn jawline. Spoiler alert, by the way, when you subscribe to this channel, that is exactly the type of jawline you're gonna get. It just immediately grows out of your body. I meet Piero, who's pretty much the merchant.
Cajitas wares, if you have coin.
As we go upstairs, rummage through his panty drawer, and take some whale oil, which looks like... As Piero gives me a sweet mask as payment for my sworn secrecy to his whale cum fetish. After Piero reads me a bedtime story, I fall asleep and wake up in a lucid dream. Long story short, this random god called the Outsider gives me some teleport superpowers, teaches me the fundamental of the magic system as we get foreshadowing of our future enemies. Oh, and also he gave me a heart that can sense supernatural ruins. Just, yeah.
What the hell is even that?
Now, this is the part where I was going to go over the magic system if it didn't take 20 minutes, and I'm not trying to get this video to be that long. The only ones you need to know about are Blink, which is a teleport, and Dark Vision, which lets you see through walls in the dark like Superman. If you want a more in-depth description, I'll leave a link down below for all the abilities. The only other thing you need to worry about is Bone Charms, which give you some minor bonuses, and Runes, which help pay for the different magic upgrades. We wake up with a cool and throw a bottle at the wall for no reason before we meet the Sideman, and a 100% guaranteed incel as we are given our first mission: kill Osama bin Laden. We're starting big with this, one of the main villains, and I better get a damn speech from Obama after the operation is over. The other thing about Dishonored is that each mission has multiple tiny side quests. Like for example, in this one, I can save Lydia's uncle, who's her only family essentially, and is actually a pretty good guy. And there's also another quest that Samuel ends up giving me on the boat ride: Granny Rags. I make my way to the side quest of Granny Rags. Apparently she has gentleman callers from the local gang who won't stop harassing her, so I take out the Activision Blizzards for her as she gives me some nice runes for my troubles. Also, the Outsider shows up in these temples as he's watching you, which, yeah, he's pretty much fucking judgmental as hell, so, we get free runes though, so that's more abilities. You can also poison the Powder Ganger's water supply of elixir for another rune. First, I loot the abandoned houses, as my favorite part of Dishonored is the exploration and the sort of lore tidbits you can get up by picking up books and notes, which is great, as I save an old man who acts like an in-mission merchant, I guess, for the rest of my time in this area, which is pretty much this mission and the next. I go to Dr. Galvani to get the rat poison behind a really cool secret door you need to figure out yourself. It's pretty much a Skyrim puzzle quest, and we get the rat poison. We finally get to the Powder Gang's hideout. As we speed run our way to the objective, we put TCLR's special sauce in the elixir store and knock out a few guards before making it back to Granny Rags, getting our hard candy reward, and making our way to the main objective. We get to these guys debating whether or not to engage in necrophilia before making our way to Overseer Martin, an ally. We need him because apparently he's a master strategist. Think Napoleon, I guess, which he better be. Instead of helping me, he goes, yeah, you know, Admiral Havelock is kind of expecting me back at the pub right now. So, yeah, you got this, buddy. Good luck. He's also the character who literally gets no screen time. You thought Dishonored couldn't get better? Think again, as every level has multiple ways to play it out, with sewers, different doors, entrances, pathways, as well as a lethal and non-lethal way to take out your target. This this game is the definition of replayable, as there is no way you will ever find every path in this game and everything to do unless you play it at least 50 times. I'll try to do things differently this time, as I did replay Dishonored earlier this summer, so it is still pretty fresh in my mind, and I find a sewer to go down, enter the kennels where they keep all their doggos, before finally making our way to the High Overseer's building. This is pretty much an exploration at this point, trying to find the High Overseer and the non-lethal path. Anyways, eventually we hang outside the High Overseer's window like a peeping Tom in a girl's shower room, and I could decide to save Lydia's uncle, but I already did that in the summer, and I want to see what happens if I don't, cause science experiment. So I let him drink the Overseer's secret sauce before he laughs and says, haha, you drank my semen, you're about to die now. As I use Flying Thunder God to teleport behind and choke out the High Overseer, while Kurno chokes out on the poison, and Lydia's later gonna choke on my cock. I want to show all the non-lethal ways to take out a target, so I pick up the unconscious High Overseer, and I mean, holy Corvo is strong. This man can carry a fat ass for miles without getting tired. Literally the real-life Hulk. We take the High Overseer to his own torture chamber as we ignore 7 human rights laws and the Geneva suggestion, oh how the turntables, before grabbing the Heretic's brand. Essentially, anyone branded with this is shunned from the entire city and is pretty much an outcast, no matter if they did anything wrong or not. Like there could literally be no proof. Even the High Overseer here. Like, no one cares if you did anything or not. Like, Kyle off 9 Monster Energy drinks and heroin could have tripped and fell on the brand like, oh, it looks like I'm shunned for life now. Shoulda looked where I was going. Ah, shucks. And now the moral question. Do I really want to excommunicate this guy from human contact because of revenge? Of course I do, what do you mean? Anyways, I rappelled down the chain but literally end up dying twice because I jumped off too early. I wonder what Samuel would have told the dudes with the Houndpits in this universe. Yeah, you know, this dude was a master, ended up wiping out the High Overseer and his entire army without being caught once, and did it all while doing his college PhD thesis on his left hand. But you know, he tried climbing down the chains and literally fell to his death because he jumped too early, so yeah. Anyways, I come back and tell Callista her uncle is dead, and she had no one else. Now have fun with life before I get congratulated by the people who actually matter. Anyways, the Admiral reads my bedtime story today, and I wake up as I get sent downstairs to the sewers to meet and take out the Weepers for the first time, who are pretty much Walking Dead zombies. It's essentially what happens after the rat plague gets to a certain point of infection. Anyways, they sent me because the servants were pussies. This letter is definitely mourning after regret. Must have been a 1-inch Punisher or a 1-pump chump. After I get the overeager girl off my dick, we get to our next objective and second favorite mission in the game, the Golden Cat Twins level, where they're keeping Emily. The kicker, I have to kill the Pendleton twins, aka Tyrion Lannister's older brothers. Anyway, let's roll, Samuel. In this mission, I now get the opportunity to work for Slackjaw and the Powder Street Gangers, which is really cool, aside from the fact I ejaculated into the elixir stew. Anyways, it's the same level as before as, what the fuck are you good? Get the fuck out of my daffodils! The Activision Blizzard employees tell me their boss wants me to see him, and seeing as how I'm not a lactating female, I deduce it's safe to go in alone. Anyway, apparently someone poisoned Slackjaw's elixir supply, which, you know, who could it have been, I wonder? That's a very strange predicament you have yourself in there, buddy. And he sends me to check up on his second-hand man in exchange for a unique path to the Golden Cat over a hotel roof. Again, another unique mission where I have to go do something completely different, check out if his old buddy is dead or not, and I get a new way to progress through the main mission. I get surprised by Weepers and give him the treatment tier 3 subs give to Pokemon haters before we get some shadow assassins as we get a taste of some future enemies. Apparently Slackjaw's boy got shot up, rip, and he gives me the key to the hotel after I give him the news. Now this is where the non-lethal ending comes in, as Slackjaw gives me another potential mission. If I could get the passcode to some famous artist safe, Slackjaw will deal with the twins himself, for me non-lethally of course. Either way, you do have to go to the Golden Cat, as all 3 of the characters, the 2 brothers and the art dealers, and Emily, we have to save her, don't forget about that, are located before we get this gem.
Hey, sweetheart. You wanna play with me? You're a lot cuter than my regulars.
Sorry, lady. I'm on duty.
I'm on duty too. Want me to show you?
You want me to lose my job? Get lost.
I end up saving this lady, getting harassed for her elixir that her baby needs, and afterwards, you know, I never knew what happened. You know, did she just disappear from the game engine or something? So I follow her because I never know where she actually goes, and This literally ruined my day. I'm not even gonna lie, for fuck's sake. We get to the Golden Cat, and yes, it's a brothel if you haven't figured it out, before we break in and choke out James Charles, who is keeping Emily's whereabouts. She's hiding in a special brothel room or whatever, the place strippers go before shows, and we get this tearjerker.
Who are you? Why are you wearing that mask? Corvo? Corvo, it's you!
After we make sure Emily makes it to Samuel safe, it's time to deal with the Lannister twins. I'm dying as we get with this guy who thinks the hooker he's playing is actually in love with him, although it immediately turns to horror as he comes my way, and I had no choice. I guess the hooker's gonna have to get some other guy's money. For the non-lethal ending, we can blackmail the art dealer to give us the password to his safe after shocking him beyond his fetish's limits. And I decided to kill the twins anyway, as I wanted to, go through both endings. It's Granny Rags, looking for her dinner in a homeless sleeping area. Anyways, after getting caught, I bolt down to Samuel and Emily, who are waiting for me, as I committed capital murder. Now, before we end off this level, let me just say, you can actually go to the art dealer's apartment yourself after climbing up the rooftops, and you can actually use the passcode to steal the money for yourself. It really is a lot of valuables, and it can help you out. I ended up completely forgetting I could do this, and you could still give the passcode to Slackjaw afterwards, even after taking all the valuables, and he'll still do the non-lethal ending for you. In any case, we get to the Houndpits as Samuel gets bitched by a 5-year-old, and hey, we saved her, here are your slaves. They're all white, so no moral conundrum. Let me get back to murdering my way to get you back on your throne. Peace. The Crimson Chin lets me know I did good by justice, as he tells me the Pendleton is looking for me, then tells me I killed his brothers, and says the Admiral is looking for me. And I'm like, what the fuck? I was just talking to him. What the fuck do you mean he wants me? How would you be able to know he needs? I don't know why I'm mad. It just doesn't make sense that the Admiral wouldn't tell me to look for him. What's the next mission? Easy. Steal the great scientist Sokolov, who's under heavy guard, and get him back here alive, so he can tell us where the Lord Regent's mistress and secret funder is, who we need because she's paying for the Lord Regent's expenses. But you can actually see how you're hurting the Lord Regent with every mission, which is a nice touch, as he can't pass his budget and needs funding from an outside source. Anyway, let's add kidnapping to our current list of high crimes, not before stockpiling on the drug-inducing sleep darts like a cracks right activist. We get to the new levels, so everything you've previously done is well moot, which makes the game a little harder and is a nice natural progression of difficulty. Everything I said about this game, lies. This is the reason everyone loves Dishonored. Whee! We get to Jeff Bezos complaining how he's gonna lose money due to the lockdown, but the guard tells him to suck on it. This is another bonus side mission of sorts thing you can do, as this is the first time I found out about it. There's a safe, and as you read a note, it gives you clues on where to find the safe combination. It took me a while to figure out that every painting mentioned in the note has a number.
You want the numbers, Mason. That's all we've ever wanted.
And the paintings in order of the note gives you the safe combination, which gives you a nice reward, a ruin. Nothing too much more to talk about this level, as we use Assassin's Creed cheats for PS2, our way to Sokolov's house, and we have him begging for his life, which is the funniest thing. So I knock him out, and apparently he has a sex slave. Nah, I'm just kidding. Comrade Susan, don't make me part of the next great purge. Sokolov used live healthy bodies to test for his elixir, and to find a way to counteract the rat plague using healthy victims, as the infected ones don't live long enough for the experiments. I checked to see what happens if you kill Sokolov, and you fail the mission. Yeah, sorry guys. I had Sokolov, but my hand slipped and my sword ended up cutting his throat. That's on me. In any case, Samuel looks like he's about to 13 reasons why Sokolov, but I stop him as we make it back to the Houndpits, as everyone tells me how me kidnapping Sokolov is great and definitely not immoral. In any case, Piero tells me not to trust the dude we just kidnapped without his consent, which... But my bad, bro. I thought we were gonna drink some tea and fucking biscuits while we were down at the fucking Golden Cat. What do you think I was gonna do? Trust him with my goddamn firstborn? Anyways, after checking up on Emily, who's understandably going through a rough time, considering she saw her mom get shanked like a prisoner under 6 feet tall. In any case, I have to put myself to sleep this time, so no bedtime story tonight. Unlike me, last night, Emily actually wakes me up. Dumbass bitch. In any case, before we question Sokolov, I go upstairs, and there's Piero peeping like Tom from Tom and Jerry, and he saw the mommy milkers and risked it all. This bitch doesn't even... In In any case, Piero gets flustered and leaves, and then I take a peek myself. No Bobs or Vagin though, as I decide to fuck it, I'm a master assassin, and walk in, much to her surprise, for some reason. In any case, she says no to me joining her as I decide to just go question goddamn Dumbledore from Harry Potter. Sokolov won't budge and says his will is legendary and he'll never break or rat out his boys no matter how much we torture him. We literally just released the rats on him and he's the biggest rodent of them all and tells us his funder and mistress is Lady Boyle, although apparently he only painted her from behind and doesn't know which Boyle she is and where she looks like, and apparently she also has the thickest ass in the kingdom, which I don't know why he thought it was necessary to mention that, but I digress. As there's apparently a ball going on tonight, a masked ball in fact, at the Boyle estate, which is my personal favorite mission of the game as it completely switches the game on its head for one level. Tyrion Pendleton gives me a letter to deliver to a certain aristocrat and me and Samuel are on our way. The next mission introduces tall boys, super powerful machines that will fuck your shit up. In any case, I try to find a different way than I did before for the sake of the video, and after fighting off some rats and weepers, I get to a building where, after some exploration, I find a chain that drops me right to the center of the party. But I decide to reroll the save as there's a much more immersive way to go, and that's literally to walk up to the front door, blend in due to my mask, as no one will question my mask being the one the mask killer's been using, which we know because the guests act like I wore a swastika to a Holocaust memorial. We present a ticket I found on the ground and walked right in easier than Hitler walked through France. First thing I do is give Pendleton's letter to Lord Shaw, and hey, where are you guys going? Are you getting cookies and milk? Wait up guys, what's with the gun? Why do I have to stand there? Lord Shaw talks some mad shit, but when it came down to it, I landed a bullet right between the fucking eyes like Steph Curry with a wide open three-pointer. Literally just turned the off switch. Good night. Don't let the bed bugs bite. Put him to sleep permanently with the melatonin I packed in that shot. Just sniped him so accurately that I might have been the one to assassinate JFK, but I was too drunk to remember or something, so I can't tell you for sure. Assert dominance. As we get into the mask party, and now for the reason this is my favorite level. The Boyles are playing a game for the party that ties in with the quest. Each one is wearing the same suit with a different color and mask covering. Your goal is to figure out which Boyle is in which suit and which one is working for the Lord Regent. This is amazing as you really could kill them all, or you could ask around the party and explore upstairs to find the culprit. Oh, you just want to skip this mission and search for the answer online? First off, L plus ratio, you absolute scumbag. Second, it's a different Boyle every time, and each one is in a different mask. That means not only are you never going to be able to find the real answer online and you actually have to play through the mission every time, you also have to choose your dialogue with them carefully. One of them's paranoid, one of them's promiscuous woman, and I don't know what the other one is, but she's a different personality type. And when you find out which Boyle you have to kill or kidnap, you have to pick the right dialogue option or you can't get the non-lethal ending. This Sharkface is trying to get with the bug lady and is a complete dick to me, and his girl tells him to fuck off and asks me to get a drink and entertain her. I'm filling your bitch with my seed, Sharkface, get fucked. In any case, she tells you that Waverly is in black and Lydia is in red. The other sister you can deduce if you're over the age of consciousness. With that, we move upstairs, and after sniffing each Boyle's panty drawer as memories for our date with our left hand later, we finally deduce that this game has Waverly as the Tyler 1 main character, and she is paranoid. Before we continue, we go downstairs to the non-lethal ending, and honestly, it's pretty disgusting, and death is probably the better option. This monster face guy says he's in love and doesn't want me to kill Lady Boyle, so he has a proposition. So I play on Waverly's paranoia and tell her to come downstairs if you want to live. After she waits a while, she says this is stupid and goes back upstairs, which is where I knock her out. Finally, I bring her to the basement where this guy's got a boat.
Let me drive the boat.
He says someday she'll appreciate him. Yeah, this guy's a literal predator. Honestly, the headcanon is that Corvo ends up saving her after the series of events with Dishonored, and who knows, maybe Dishonored 2 delves into it. I'll end up playing that game this week. We'll find out next week in next week's video, I guess. In any case, mission over, we go back to find Samuel, and he's gone. Apparently the tall boys came too close, but he's behind the dam. My boy Samuel is an ace driver, and with that ends my favorite mission for Dishonored. This mission was perfect, with a different Boyle being the target every time, and the detective work that never gets old, as well as the different dialogue you need to convince each Boyle. Mwah! A masterpiece. I also love the unique duel mini game that has you stressed and actually has you feel like you're in an actual duel, and my god, I love this level personally. You also have the moral dilemma of whether it's better to kill Lady Boyle or not, and the whole Samuel moving thing. All of these are relatively minor, but add realism and immersion to the game as it shows you it's not cookie cutter or anything different. It's realistic, and not everything is black and white, and setbacks can happen, and sometimes you have to improvise. With the mini games being fun and trying to sneak into the party, acting natural and walking around, and then you have to sneak upstairs, by far my favorite level of the game, although my raging hard-on can't distract me from the fact that we still haven't gotten to the objectively best level. We get back home and I get called up to the Crimson Chin for the final mission, to do what Sonic couldn't and put Dr. Egghead on a shirt. He knows something is coming, he knows you are coming. No doubt, this game's made me come since the start. I find an anonymous note on my desk, which I've never seen before in my previous playthroughs, who came from a Boyle woman, who was grateful I actually took out her sister. I mean, damn, I'd be happy too if I doubled my inheritance. So here we are, Samuel taking me back to Dunwall Tower, just like the start of the game. I climb up the waterlock and put a point into the Summon Rats ability, which, that was insane. I felt like fucking Gandalf with that shit. Oh my god. I gotta do a high chaos Dishonored playthrough soon. I get to this lover duo where this guy struck the fuck out. Holy shit, that's embarrassing. Couldn't be me. It definitely is me. I eventually find an open window. You know, despite how paranoid the Lord Regent and his guards are, whoever the guard left the window open is just mad fucking stupid, I guess. You know, he's all paranoid on the TV and shit. You know, he knows I'm coming, and they decide to crack open a window because it's a little too humid in here. I go inside, and just a note, if you make any noise, the guards ring the alarm. The Lord Regent will then go from his bedroom, which is relatively easy to get him, to his safe room, which is a lot harder to get to him as compared to just walking into his bedroom and making sweet love and holding him accountable for his actions. Now for the non-lethal ending. You can climb and find the door to the radio tower, and the radio guy tells us to go to the safe of the Lord Regent in his bedroom, where we can get his diary tape, exposing him as the one who not only brought the Black Rat Plague to the city, but as the one who actually killed the Empress. His fucking diary, which I find hilarious, because as paranoid as he is, he'd really keep something like a black book that described everything he did. As leaving the radio room, you could just teleport to the Lord Regent's inner balcony if you have teleport level 2, or jump across these chandeliers if you just have level 1, but you can also sneak through his front door, which I've never done, so I decided to try that this time. So I put the Lord Regent in a hearse and a coffin 6 feet under. If he sees you, he'll immediately try to run to his safe room, and after killing the guards brutally, I unlock the safe, get the tape, broadcast his crimes as I catch his ass in 4K Ultra HD high definition next gen Panasonic Sony camera with a surround ultra definition sound microphone. This radio guy is actually a real one for not giving a shit and letting me do what I want. I find Samuel and leave the scene of my crimes. We get back home and the Loyalists are ready to celebrate as we finally finish the game, and we drink and have fun, and Emily's now Empress, and oh, I don't feel so good. In any case, the Loyalists poisoned me to tie up loose ends, but Samuel, despite them watching, only gave me half the actual poison and trusted I could pull through, so instead of giving me to the conspirators, he put me on a boat floating down to the flooded district. That is right, Samuel is right up there and as based as Gilga Chad, Mr. Beast, and Kim Jong-un. And now we get to the objectively best level in the entire game, the flooded district. We get picked up by the assassins who killed the mommy Empress and meet the murderer, Dodd. Dodd ends up imprisoning us and he throws all our items away, setting us up for one of the hardest and best levels. We wake up with a bigger headache than college students after a spring break trip to Mexico and can either throw rocks to break the prison or possess a rat to escape through the sewers. We use the Omnitrix to activate Michael Schofield and bust our way out of prison, find a sword, take out some assassins, and have a choice. Recover our gear or just go straight to the final JoJo boss. I go get my weapons first to make things easier, and for more context, I get some whale cum to open the drawbridge, climb down the rope, and kill some weepers before finally getting my weapons back. And now for the hard part, killing Dodd. This is a really different level depending on if you have high chaos or low chaos. High chaos, you'll have to fight everyone, where in low chaos, Dodd will stop time and let you 1v1 him. Wait, stop time? I was only partly kidding when I said we'd be fighting the last JoJo boss. Apparently it's not Dodd.
But it was I, Dio!
And like my Call of Duty Black Ops days, I am still unbeatable in the 1v1, as I fuck this guy up so hard he just gives up. In any case, he gives a speech on how killing the Empress really fucked with him and he wants to leave and never kill again. That whole story arc is showed in the DLC. Let me know if you want me to go through all the Dishonored DLCs. This next level is more focused on how the people are affected by the plague, which is refreshing as this game still really hasn't shown how the average person is affected by the 6-9 plague. We have this father who tells his son to look at the rabbits as he dies. Then we get this dick. Yeah, let me see. Yeah, you don't like the shit now, do you? The goal is to get past Rudshore Gate and past all the tall boys, and it's harder than it looks. Now, you can go on the carts that are passing by and skip the entire level, or you could do a side mission, which I, again, just found out in this playthrough. In the house to the east, we get the cast for Prison Break planning their escape from the quarantine zone, but the tall boys are about to attack the building they're in. So they want to escape to a safe area a little bit to the north, which don't know what that changes, but okay. Blake is the ringleader, and he just wants us to go take out the zap thing. I just reprogrammed it to turn the guard protecting it to a well-done cannibal Mac. After that, we stand watch as everyone makes their way 6 feet to the open courtyard outside the houses, and hey, you get some goodwill, and move on to the next area. We go through the level and can fight some weepers, or just make my way to the sewer, and I meet one of Slackjaw's men who say Slackjaw has the key I need to progress and is in some trouble. So I make my way to the gang leader, and wow, we get a final showdown and choice between Granny Rags and Slackjaw. Now you have two choices. Kill Slackjaw and help Granny actually turn him into a well-done Big Mac. Or I can fight Granny Rags and save Slackjaw. I do both here, and it's much more fun to fight Granny, so that's the canon ending. Spoiler, when you use summon rats, they won't actually attack Granny, as she gives this line. This was a great final showdown as we finally see what and who Granny Rags actually is, and why she hates the Bottle Street gang so much. You kill Granny by throwing her doll in the furnace that has her power, and then stick the pistol in her mouth and empty the magazine. Save Slackjaw, and he gets down on his knees and gives you the Glock Block 3000. He gives you money to do, he gives you some money. We get one last judgment from the outsider before we move on to the Houndpits pub. We get to a Syrian refugee camp where a lot of sick people are before we go through some cum spitters and some obstacles before we end the flooded district level. This wasn't my personal favorite level, that was the Boyle murder mystery one, and I did kind of like the Golden Cat level a little bit better personally, but I do concede that objectively, from a game design standpoint, this is the best level in the entire game. The switch up where you lose your items, the plot twist anyone with an even number of chromosomes could see coming, the Shadow Assassins, Dodd. Finally, we get to the Hound's Pit and see what happened to the rest of the Loyalists. Everyone died depending on whether it was high or low chaos. In this instance, everyone except Cecilia, literally only alive because she was treated like Meg from Family Guy and no one knows she's even there, and Lydia, aka Emily's teacher who locked herself in Emily's tower. Also, Piero and Sokolov locked themselves in Piero's laboratory. Everyone else was told they got a bonus for their great work before the Crimson Chin turned into his evil counterpart, the Nimson Chin, and unloaded the Uzi in everyone's cranium after telling them to look at the rabbits. And you have to find out where they sent Emily and where the Loyalists are, and find your bottom bitch Samuel to take you there. In any case, there is some stealth and fun to be had as we get to Piero's lab where they are finishing the machine that can either wipe out and turn all nearby enemies to dust, or to stick him full of melatonin and put him to sleep. You get the schematic still in the pub before you choose what setting you want, and eliminating the enemies as a threat. Then I went to Lydia, who's still alive because I didn't kill people this game, and she told me to use the flare to call up my Uber driver, and instead of a foreign refugee, Samuel shows up and takes me to the final level, for real this time. The conspirators are at King Sparrow's Island in the lighthouse where they're keeping Emily, and this level is pretty decent, but has one glaring thing, I guess. The fact that if you go behind a rock, you can literally skip 99% of the level, and immediately confront the Admiral by walking up the ropes, which I almost always do, but I decided to actually try the level this time. Also, in High Chaos ending, Samuel will shoot a pistol to immediately bring about the guards to your attention, which is cool, but I never thought my boy could snitch like that. This level pretty much has everything in it: tall boys, secret entrances, multiple ways to attack the base, as well as different ways to skip the different levels. It doesn't add anything new, so it really isn't the best level, but it is more focused on the ending of the story versus on adding new things to the game, so I can't really complain. But after we get to the lighthouse and take the elevator up, feel free to unload the rest of your sleep darts, as there's like 5 enemies left before the Admiral. We finally get to the Admiral's hideout, as we find he actually poisoned the inner circle of the inner circle, which is something I personally didn't expect. although I was like 10 when I first played this game, so that's probably the reason. Now, there is a bug, as in low chaos, the Admiral is supposed to let you take the key to Emily's prison room, but when you do take the key, he turns hostile. There is a special kill scene you can get, which is on the screen right now. If you time the parry and counter perfectly, you get this gem as the Admiral is like, oh no, before you empty the clip into his cranial cavity. And finally, we save Emily and she is crowned Empress, and the game is finally over with one of the 3 endings: high chaos, but Emily dies, and low chaos. I'll leave a link to all 3 endings depending on the chaos level, and yeah, that's pretty much Dishonored. Woo! What a game. A masterpiece, might I add. Right up there with Fallout New Vegas, respectable black individuals in Paris, and 2 Girls, 1 Cup. I love the actual choice the game gives you as the game develops based on the chaos level, as you can see how the world reacts to your choices. The other plus is the fact that the game gives you insane amounts of replayability, with different ways to do different chaoses with every level. There are so many books, excerpts, as well as side missions that are all unique, and none of which are forced or the same as one another. Poisoning the Well, the Art Dealer, Flooded District Escapees, The Duel, all are unique and make you want to play them, and this is one of the games that you will want to play multiple times. Finally, the powers are limited but make up for quantity with quality, which is more than enough, as every power is different and helps you do things you would otherwise struggle with. All masterpieces have blemishes, every Kyle Jenner booty has injection sites from the plastic surgery, and this game has some even though they are minor. And you know, the actual storytelling wasn't a masterpiece, although it was still great. It wasn't amazing like the gameplay. I mean, they're not really criticisms, but I had to give something here. I guess let me know down below any criticisms you might actually have for the game, but I sincerely don't have a lot. At the end of the day, Dishonored is one of the best games of all time, and definitely one you should buy, as it's dirt cheap, worth less than $5 right now on Steam. The fact that this game didn't win Game of the Year is a travesty, but if you enjoy, like and subscribe to grow 6 inches where it counts, and to not miss out on my Dishonored 2 video next week, and let me know down below what other games you want to see me do next. I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.